So there's this perception that my fellow veterans and I have noticed with civilians, and it really is a pain in the ass to deal with. Every time one of us goes for a job interview, we're told that military leadership is just barking orders. And you want to know what? That is so far from the truth. So our question is, where does this perception come from? Where does this information that you civilians are coming with this conclusion? I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. This week we're going to talk about what truly is military leadership. Why is it so effective? Why is it more effective than most other leaderships? And where is this misconception coming from? And how can we fix this? You see, it all started when I retired from the Marine Corps in 2018, and I went for my first job interview as an executive with the CEO of the company. And during the interview process, he just made an offhand remark of, yeah, all you military leaders just bark orders and think that everyone's just going to listen to you. And I just wanted to come over the table and set him straight. But because this was my first civilian job interview, so I thanked him for his time, walked out, and left it at that. It was no use in getting an argument with some Georgia Tech engineer who has no people skills. It's important for me to be the better person, because that's what military leadership is. It's not about being right, it's about controlling the position. And by being in control of the position, I was able to stand up, not just for me, but for my fellow veterans. You see, we encounter this every day. And that is the worst thing that we can do for our veterans. These people have worked hard to earn their ranks, to earn their positions. So why do you civilians believe that military leadership is just barking orders? Well, the biggest one is our media. Our media likes to write stories that has a bad guy, and usually the bad guy is some government following military leader, because knowing these people, because I got a theater degree, is the fact that they don't like military people. They're scared of military people. Because what we live through, what we have to go through to create the strength, the endurance, the fortitude that is needed to survive in such a dynamic and devastating environment. I mean, the media makes us look bad. Especially the news, they'll just show the military leader standing on top of the hill pointing out and says, attack. That is far from the truth. There is 2 years of things that happen before we get to that position. First, let's explain the position, why that comes up. First of all, in military operations, you have to use quick, concise wording. And that's what everyone sees. Everyone sees the end result. They don't see what was built up to get to that point. To get to the point that where a military leader can give a quick, decisive order is by what we did during the processes before that. And this is what we call our Marine Corps planning process. First, we're giving our mission. Your unit's going to be a casualty evacuation. How do you do it? We don't know. You need to figure that out. And that's where we, as a unit, from the leader on down to the people, come together and say, hey, this is our mission. This is the job that we're doing. We are going to save lives. How do we do it? What questions do we need to ask? What do we know? What do we not know? And what are we assuming? By being able to clarify that, we're able to get concise answers that will help us build a plan to practice with. So we go away, we do our research, and we come back together. We come back and we share, hey, this is what they did in Vietnam. Hey, this is what the British SAS are doing. And we come up with these best practices of how to be the best casualty evacuation unit that there is. So then we put this all together, and then we create a practice plan. And through this practice, we're able to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what can be improved on. And we keep going through this process until we get to an 80% solution where we feel that this is a good enough answer to answer most of the questions in a dynamic environment. Then we create ourselves a fake dynamic environment by going out to the desert, train as a unit for a week. And we bring out outside personnel to evaluate us. And in doing so, we're able to be given scenarios and be able to go through the processes that we created, and using quick, concise communication to be able to execute in that golden hour that saves lives. You see, a person who's injured only has about 1 hour of a fighting chance to be able to survive, and it relies upon us to be able to start an aircraft up in 8 minutes, to be able to fly out to their location and get them to the nearest surgical hospital or get a doctor to them to be able to save their lives. Because after that golden hour, their chances of survival diminish exponentially. That's a lot in those minutes after that hour. By being able to do these training evaluations, we're able to learn from other outsiders saying, hey, we like what you did with this, but what about that? Or they throw out scenarios going that we never thought about because they've either learned about it or they've experienced it themselves in their previous deployments. And then we refine what we've done, and then we're ready to execute. Usually that's when the commanding officer's boss says, yes, I like what I see, you guys are definitely ready for the war. And we go out and we go save lives. You see, it isn't about the boss, the commanding officer, having all the answers. It's about having the commanding officer giving his experience and ideas, sending it down to the people below him or her, and be able to get the best ideas and refine those all the way up where the final decisions are resting on the commanding officer. And so when you see in that movie, Go Get Them, you understand that there was 2 years of planning, training, creating a process that involved everybody, that everyone could accept. It wasn't about having the right answer, but it was about having an answer that everyone could work towards or work within that environment to be successful. And that's what military leadership is. Military leadership is about understanding that our small unit leaders are very bright. We trust them to make decisions at their levels, because if we're waiting for the commanding officer to make all the decisions, people will die, and we don't have time for that. Military leadership benefits the civilian population by the fact that we can come in and create this planning process with you, where we can be able to explore the best ideas, not the right ideas, but the best ideas that everyone can contribute in or work in. Because the fallacy that one person has all the answers really pushes other people away from wanting to participate in the success of the organization. By having the ability to get the best ideas from everybody allows everyone to contribute and be part of those solutions and be able to contribute to the success of the organization. And that is what you want as a leader. Allow us military leaders to be able to help create this environment of trust, to create this environment of success because of the way we use everybody around us to find the best answers. Now the big news that you're waiting for. This is my last recording in this house. We sold it. So you'll see my next recordings at our new location. And I hope they're just as fun to make as they were at this place. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. If you like this video, hey, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. While you're at it, hey, hit subscribe. Tell other growing leaders that this is something that they need to see and that this can benefit the military and civilian relationship to have a better society. We'll talk to you again next video.